I completely forgot to do a video on my Banks intake system. I told you guys in the video I was going to take off the controller because I wanted to show you guys just how good this intake system is. Simply because this thing does pull in more air. You guys know all the benefits that this intake system has. The biggest issue with these newer trucks is simply the manufacturers have just made the tolerances so tight. If you flow any more air past the master flow sensor, it will throw a check engine light. And Banks blessed us with this controller. I'm going to show it to you guys here in a second. This is the main reason why you should get this intake system. I have a promo code down below. It is worth its weight in gold. Probably one of my most favorite upgrades on this truck. Let's jump into the video. Now, I need to ask Banks if they would do some upgrades for this guy here. It's my wife's car. I don't really need much more than maybe the PedalMonster, maybe. I wouldn't mind a, iDash Pro too, just saying. If you guys want to create a mode for me, just as a test fit, because they don't give you a lot of information on this thing, or maybe I haven't found it yet, but regardless of it, this right here, I'm talking about this guy, this is the main reason why this intake system is so good. You guys see how much bigger the intake is, right? So much bigger compared to the factory. If I could find it for you guys, I'll show it to you. I have all my junk over here. Here's my CCV. You guys have seen that a few times in videos. But right here, this is the factory intake system. Just real quickly, I want to show it to you guys. You guys see, they put all this stuff on here, all this restriction, so that it's quieter, because people don't want to hear your loud truck, right? So these factory boxes are then plastic. They have a lot of turbulence, right? And as I've said in the past, manufacturers always leave meat on the bone simply because they're already building you an entire truck. So they're not going to spend years of development on an intake system when they can just build something that is cost effective for your truck. And that is why I always recommend doing upgrades. See, it's not just the ram intake from Banks, the boost tubes. I also have the turbo inlet. Also, I have the Derringer, and I have all the pans too. I will say, I'm going to do a video because someone asked me this question when they saw my truck. They saw my lift on the truck and they said, if you had to do one upgrade, what would it be? And I said, dude, that's a hard question. So maybe I'll think about that and we'll do a video on that. But yeah, let's go ahead. My goal here is I want to unplug this guy here, right? We're going to take off this controller. And what we're going to do is we're just going to plug right back into the mass airflow sensor, because again, I want to show you guys what's going to happen. Now, if you don't know, you probably can tell my truck is tuned. I have a jailbroken ECM and I got it done through HP tuners. So I wanted to see if with my tune, with this intake system, still throw a check engine light simply because of all the extra air. Now, I'm pretty sure it will, but let's just find out and see what happens. I almost forgot, if you're going to be working with your mass airflow sensor, you do have to undo the battery for at least 15 minutes. That way you don't throw a light. So I have to do that on both sides, and then, like I said, we'll go ahead and unplug the mass airflow sensor. So now you guys can see, this is the controller right here, okay? So all I did was just unplug it. And let's see here, actually, I might actually plug this together. That way I don't get too much dust. I'm not going far today, but just to protect everything, I'm just gonna put that together. And now we're just plugged into the intake system. So if I throw a check engine light, right, that should prove to you guys how much airflow is going through this system. And I know a lot of you guys are asking, like, why is it taking so long for Banks to release their products? Like, my goodness, because they do take a long time. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I have been waiting for this for like, what, a year and a half? Because I wanted to try it out and see what happened. And at the time, all we had was boost tubes, turbo inlet, that was it. But then they released the Derringer and the intake about the same time. And so the main reason why they take so long is because Their goal is to prevent this, what I'm about to do right now, from happening. Because again, when you're flowing more air, you're going to throw a check engine light. That's why the competitors, they have nice intake systems, right? But their intake systems don't really give you much more, you know, power. They're just giving you the sound, because as you guys saw back there, the baffles and everything on that intake system do quiet it down. But with this intake system, you get the sound, you get the performance. And my favorite thing about this is the fuel economy. I got probably 3 to 4 miles per gallon better. And I proved that in a video. I actually did a fuel economy run. I think it was like 100 miles. I went out to get fireworks because I wanted to show people how good it was, because people did not believe me when I said I was getting 3 to 4 miles per gallon better with just the intake system. Now at the time, I did have the turbo inlet and the boost tubes, but I didn't really see a fuel economy gain with that. The biggest benefit from the boost tubes and inlet I felt was the boost stayed on stronger, longer. But apart from that, this intake system does bring a little bit more performance, and the fuel economy is why I recommend it. Let's start the truck up. Not gonna lie to you guys, I'm a little nervous. So I did use it's called a bypass plug for my Derringer, just in case. I don't know if it would throw a code or not, so I just want to take it out of the equation. So there's a bypass plug that Banks gives you for this. That way, if you take it in for service, for warranty work, you don't get like a check engine light or anything like that. Oh my gosh, that didn't take long at all. Oh wow, that's insane. Let's see here. So golly, I was expecting it to be like at least a few miles down the road. So you guys know with my Banks iDash Pro, I can check my own DTCs. See what it says. That was really fast. I expected to go down the road at least 2 miles. Manifold absolute pressure. Barometric. Huh. It's actually throwing all kind of weird codes. So I'm not, well here, let's do this. I'm going to clear the DTC. Let's see what happens when I clear them. Clearing DTCs up, they're gone. Goodbye. I love my iDash Pro. So that, wow, that was really fast, guys. I did not expect a check engine light on startup. So let's just, I don't know if I even want to do this now. Do you guys see how much airflow this intake system is pulling in? That's how good it is. So let me just get out of my neighborhood really quickly and I'll show you guys what's happening here. Wow. My truck is driving really crappy right now. You know, wow, it's like I don't have any power. You know, for the most part, I thought that control was just tricking the computer, but that's not what it's doing. This is very interesting. I'm looking at my boost. I'm like doing wide open throttle and nothing's happening. Like, well, there's a car in front of me, but I'm not holding it long, but my truck can get up and go pretty fast because it has an additional 125 horsepower. So here, let me just slow down a little bit. Let me just get some distance here between these two cars. Okay, ready? And wide open throttle. It's always to the floor. Nothing's really happened. There it is. Wow. See, that controller does more than they probably even will tell us, because the performance is different. So you can't just dump a lot of air into the engine and expect it to be great, because they're controlling the airflow and how, I don't know, there's more to it. I would like for them to do like a deep dive into their controller. They probably won't, because, you know, of course, they might give away their secrets, but there's a big difference. and how this truck is performing right now. Let me see if I can get back down to 0 here, because I want you guys to see this. Like, it's very, very shocking how different my truck is performing. But the good news is that check engine light has not come back. And even if it doesn't come back, the truck is performing a little worse. So I don't expect it not to come back, just put it that way. So here we go. I'm gonna zoom in and wide open throttle. Nothing's happening, nothing's happening. I'm at 12 pounds of boost, 16, 25. Yeah, so the truck doesn't like what's going on. Like, it knows that there's more air coming in, and it's trying to like decipher how to use that air, right? Yeah, it's like pulling air, and I can feel the boost come on, and then I let off, and then it's pulling air, and then the boost comes on. It's like the timing is off or something like that. I can't really explain it, but the way that it's performing is totally different. Let's see if that check engine light is being like stored in here too. So I'm just gonna put check the DTCs again. And while it's doing that, we'll just drive here. It's saying no codes found. Yeah, it's, wow. I'm actually a little impressed because there's more to it. We might have to go online. Maybe I've forgotten. Maybe that controller does more than just help with the extra airflow, because there's a difference in how the performance is now too. I'm going to plug it back in. I want to see now what would happen if I plug it back in, and how will it perform after that, because wide open throttle, it's a totally different truck, and it doesn't feel good. Like, I feel like here, I'm going to give it 30% throttle here. Nothing's happening. Nothing. I'm at 10 pounds of boost. 13 pounds of boost. Nothing's happening. It's just kind of sitting there. And I don't know if you guys saw it. It did say no codes found. I think I mentioned that already. I can't remember now. I'm just focusing on here. So, all right. So watch the boost. I'm at 40, 60. Yeah. This is how good their intake system is. Without that controller, Banks would not have an intake system, because they don't want your truck to perform this way. See, the competitors don't have this size diameter internally. I think that they actually make it look bigger, but internally it's actually smaller, because they cannot change the flow past that mass airflow sensor. Now, you guys saw I had a code for the manifold absolute pressure. That's for the intake manifold. Not sure why that gave us a code, but regardless of it, the truck is performing totally different. Let's go ahead and plug it back in and see what happens. Now, in case you're wondering, this is the bypass plug right here, and you're supposed to keep this in your truck. So if you ever have to take it in for service, you have to plug this in line with the Derringer, so that way you don't obviously show them that your truck has a tuner on it. So just keep that in mind. Let's go ahead and start the truck up. I think that I'm like, again, just sold on this cold air intake system that Banks has. It's actually a ram air intake. They don't call it cold air. But yeah, there it is again, the check engine light. So let's see what it says. We're gonna go down to diagnostics and vehicle, check DTCs. And by the way, I've never had a check engine light with my intake system. Even my truck was using it without my tuner. So it's just showing just odd codes, and it's simply because we're messing with the mass airflow sensor, and really because I have the Derringer, it's probably just telling me just to check everything, check the wiring, because I unplugged it. So again, I'll follow up if I get a check engine light in the future. I'll let you guys know, but I don't think I will, simply because I've never had one with my intake system. So yeah, when you do go to install that, you're supposed to undo the battery as well, so keep that in mind. Now let's see if my truck is performing like it just was. I hope not, because now I'll be nervous. So far so good. Let's see what happens. Wide on throttle. Oh yeah, we're good. We are good. Ooh, that feels good. So the truck definitely now has that responsiveness back. Oh yeah, I'm happy again. Ladies and gentlemen, I mean, I don't know what else to say. Like, I know that some of you guys, for whatever reason, is against some of these products that I have, but I'm telling you, my favorite upgrade on my truck is this intake system. I love this intake. It's my favorite upgrade. I think I've sold about 1,000 intake systems for Banks, just simply off of some of the videos I've done, because it's that good. And when people ask me my honest opinion off camera, I always tell them exactly how I'm going to tell you now. Get the intake system. If it's the first upgrade you do, it'll make you happy for a year or two. Then you might want to get the inlet and then the boost tubes. But I'm telling you, this upgrade makes the biggest difference for fuel economy. And I mean, you guys see my best right there, right? 29.5. That's for 25 miles driven. Let's just see what 50 miles is. My 50 miles is 26.3, and my 450 was 19.7. So just keep in mind, I live in a very hilly area. Like right now, I'm at 5,100 feet above sea level. And that's what I like about this iDash Pro by Banks. It gives you all this information. I can see my fuel rail pressure. There's just such nice information in there. And the fact is, you know, it can show you what your check engine light is if you get one down the road. And it just helps you to monitor your temperature. Like, I can see my engine oil temp. It doesn't show that in this screen. Also, I can see my engine coolant temp. It shows me an actual number for that. So yeah, I hope this video was helpful. Again, not trying to push Banks products, you know, because I make money. It's not what it's about, guys. I can clearly see the benefits I've gotten from their products. And this video proved to me today, like, that intake system is only good because of that controller. No matter how much air you flow past that master airflow sensor, your truck, the way that it's designed now, they don't let you have fun anymore. And I'm just saying that, you know, figuratively, because of how tight the tolerances are on these trucks. So Banks had to come up with a way to make performance gains, also make fuel economy gains out of that intake system. And they were able to find it because, as I said earlier, the manufacturer always leaves a little bit of meat on the bone. That's the main reason why. And so they're able to pull out an extra few horsepower. They're able to pull out an extra 1 or 2 mpg. In my case, 3 to 4 mpg, just simply because of the extra air that you're pulling into the engine. When you think about density, altitude, that's why all these upgrades do make a big difference, because when you're pulling in more air, you're going to get better performance. It's just how it works. When you think about performance cars, like, how do they obviously get more power? They pull in more air. They have bigger intake systems, right? They're not as restrictive. So again, I hope this video was helpful. Be sure to subscribe to the channel and let me know your guys' thoughts down below.